Ever walk into a store, super excited about some crazy deal you saw, like a new TV or something, and then, poof, it's gone. Sold out, they say.
Happens all the time.
Yeah, well, talk about a buzzkill, right? Total bait and switch. And that's exactly what we're diving deep into today, folks.
Right.
How to spot these sneaky sales traps so you can, keep your wallet happy and avoid those buyer's remorse blues.
I think a lot of people don't even realize how often these tactics are used.
Yeah. It's almost like, like we're programmed to fall for them sometimes.
It's true. There's a definite psychological element at play. Think about it. We're wired to respond to scarcity, right?
Oh, yeah, totally.
Limited time offers, those going fast warnings, they trigger something called loss aversion in our brains. We don't want to miss out on a good deal.
Makes sense. It's like our inner caveman freaking out, thinking, gotta grab that mammoth before it's gone, even if, we don't actually need another mammoth.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's where the bait and switch comes in. It exploits those very instincts, our fear of missing out.
So it's not just about like bad deals. It's deeper than that.
Right. It's almost like a psychological trap,
Yeah.
A three-step process, really. First, there's the bait, that super low price or that amazing offer, or whatever it is that grabs your attention.
It's like shiny object syndrome.
It is. And it's designed to trigger that impulsive, I need this now feeling. Then comes the switch.
Okay, so the bait's set. I'm hooked. Now what?
Now the bait item is suddenly unavailable. Or maybe they start pointing out flaws, subtly steering you towards a different product.
The one that just happens to be more expensive, of course.
Of course. And finally, just when you're feeling a little deflated, bam, they hit you with step 3, closing the deal.
Ah, yes, the pressure tactic.
Exactly. They might use limited time offers, play on your fear of missing out, anything to make you feel like you have to act now.
Ugh, I hate that. I can be such a sucker for that kind of pressure.
What we all are, to some extent, is how they manipulate us. We're more likely to make emotional decisions when we feel rushed.
Which is exactly what they're counting on. So instead of walking out with that amazing deal you thought you were getting, you end up with something else entirely, often at a much higher price.
You got it.
Okay, so we've got the basic idea down, right? But let's get into some real-life examples, because I have a feeling we've all encountered this more than we realize.
Oh, absolutely. We see it everywhere. Online, in stores, even with services.
Yeah, let's start with the online world. I feel like that's a hotbed for this kind of stuff.
For sure. Ever find an amazing deal online, add it to your cart, all excited, and then, bam, hidden fees at checkout.
Don't even remind me. That happened to me just last week. I was so excited to finally be upgrading my laptop,
Yeah.
And then all these extra charges, like shipping and handling, just appeared out of nowhere.
Yeah, it's a classic bait and switch. They get you invested in the purchase,
Yeah.
and then hit you with these unexpected costs, hoping you'll be too frustrated or, just too lazy to abandon the cart.
I mean, it's annoying, but like sometimes you just give in.
Right? It works. And speaking of online shopping, how about those price comparison websites? Ever use those?
Oh, all the time. Especially when I'm, booking flights or looking for deals on hotels.
Well, I hate to break it to you, but those can be tricky.
Oh, really?
Yeah, imagine you're searching for a flight to, say, Paris. You find a ridiculously low fare on one of these comparison sites. But when you click through, you end up on the airline's website with a completely different price. Way higher, of course.
Wait, so are they like intentionally misleading people?
Not always. Sometimes it's just outdated information or, technical glitches. But in some cases, it's a deliberate bait and switch tactic.
So it's like they're playing with our travel dreams, basically.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
They get you all excited about that cheap flight or that perfect hotel, and then, bam, reality hits.
And by then, you've already spent so much time researching and planning, you're almost tempted to just pay the higher price, right? It's like they know that.
Exactly. They know you're invested.
Ugh, so frustrating. Okay, so we've covered some online shenanigans. What about, like, those classic retail traps? The ones that happen in actual stores.
Yes. Let's talk about the good old sold out scenario.
Oh, I know this one.
Yeah, picture this. You see an ad for, say, a 70-inch TV at an unbelievably low price. You rush to the store, credit card ready to go, only to find that the TV is, surprise, sold out.
And then, like magic, a salesperson appears, right?
Right on cue. And they're ready to show you a different TV, a better TV. Bigger, more features, but definitely pricier.
Oh, I've seen this play out so many times.
And they might even try to convince you that the original TV had some flaw or was last year's model, making the switch seem like they're doing you a favor.
It's so manipulative. And you know what? I almost fell for this tactic a few months ago with a new phone. I was so fixated on the sale price, I didn't even realize the switched phone had less storage.
That's a common one. They
Yeah.
subtly downgrade features or quality, hoping you won't notice or that you'll just be so worn down by the whole process that you'll cave.
It's exhausting. Okay, so we've got online traps and retail shenanigans down. What other areas should we be wary of?
Well, service industries could be a minefield too. Think about, say, a cleaning service that advertises a crazy low hourly rate.
Okay, I'm picturing this like they show up at my house, ready to clean, and then what?
And then the add-on fees start piling up. A deep clean surcharge, a stain removal fee, maybe an extra charge for eco-friendly products.
Oh, come on. It's like they're holding my clean house hostage.
Right. But it's tempting though, right? Especially for something like cleaning, where you might not always know the going rates.
Yeah, that's
They
true.
prey on that uncertainty. And don't even get me started on home repair services.
Oh, I bet those are full of bait and switch scenarios.
You bet. A contractor comes in with a lowball estimate to get the job, and then once they start working, forget it. Suddenly it's unforeseen problems, essential upgrades all over the place,
Yeah.
just driving up that price.
It's like that classic line from Jaws. You're going to need a bigger boat. But in this case, it's you're going to need a bigger wallet.
Perfect analogy.
What starts as a simple fix turns into like a major overhaul, costing 3 times the original estimate.
That's the worst.
And by then, you're kind of stuck because the work's already started, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
They rely on that sunk cost fallacy. They know you're less likely to back out once you've already invested time and money.
Okay, I'm officially paranoid now. So we've got retail, online services. Is there anywhere that's safe from the bait and switch? Like, what about telemarketing? I feel like that's got to be a haven for this kind of stuff.
Oh, it is. All those calls about, congratulations, you've won a free cruise or whatever.
Yeah, those are the words.
They hook you with that tempting prize or that ridiculously low offer. But then, once they have you on the phone, the conditions start piling up. Hidden costs, blackout dates, mandatory port fees. Suddenly, that free cruise isn't so free anymore.
Ugh, they're like dangling a carrot and then snatching it away. Okay, this is all starting to feel a bit overwhelming. Like, how can we protect ourselves? What red flags should we be looking out for?
Well, first and foremost, trust your gut. If a price seems too good to be true, it probably is.
That's good advice, but easier said than done sometimes.
I know. But it's important to step back and, really think about it.
Yeah, don't let the excitement cloud your judgment.
Right. Do your research, compare prices from a few different sources.
Yeah.
Be realistic about what's a good deal and what's just too good to be true.
Okay, that makes sense.
And be wary of anything that feels pushy or makes you feel rushed. Limited time offers, there's only 2 left in stock warnings.
Yeah.
Those are often just tactics to pressure you into making a quick decision without really thinking it through.
So don't let them rush you.
Exactly. And if you see an ad that's full of vague language or promises that seem too good to be true,
Red flag, red flag.
red flag. Don't be afraid to ask for more information to get some specifics. A reputable company will be happy to answer your questions.
And if they get all defensive or evasive?
Another red flag. Trust your instincts. If something feels off, it probably is. And, same goes for salespeople. If they're being super pushy or using guilt trips to try to make you buy something,
Oh, yeah, those are the worst.
walk away. Remember, you're in control. Don't let anyone pressure you into buying something you're not comfortable with.
Okay, so we've got gut checks, scarcity tactics, vague language, pressure tactics. Anything else?
Just be sure to pay close attention to the details, especially with product features or service descriptions. Make sure what you're getting actually matches what they advertised.
Right, because that's where those sneaky substitutions can happen.
Exactly. They might change a feature, lower the quality, or try to give you a slightly different model, hoping you won't notice.
So it's all about being informed and being a little bit skeptical, right? Do your research, ask questions, and don't be afraid to just walk away if something seems fishy. But what happens if, despite our best efforts, we do fall victim to a bait and switch scheme? Is there anything we can do legally?
Luckily, there is. In many countries, including the U.S. and the EU, bait and switch tactics are considered deceptive trade practices,
Oh?
which means they're actually illegal.
Oh, wow. So it's not just shady business, it's against the law.
Exactly. Here in the U.S., the Federal Trade Commission, FTC, has specific guidelines that prohibit bait and switch advertising.
Okay, so they're like the watchdogs.
They are. They can investigate businesses, issue fines, and even take legal action to stop these practices. So there are real consequences for companies that try to pull a fast one.
That's good to know.
And it's important for consumers to be aware of their rights, too. If you think you've been a victim of a bait and switch, you can file a complaint with the FTC or your local consumer protection agency. You might be entitled to a refund, compensation, or other legal remedies. Don't be afraid to stand up for yourself and report those businesses.
That's really good advice. I think it's so easy to feel powerless in these situations.
I agree, but knowledge is power, right? The more we understand these tactics and our rights, the less effective these schemes become.
You're right. Okay, so we've covered a lot here today. We've talked about how bait and switch works, why it's so effective, and how to protect ourselves.
Yep.
Any final thoughts before we wrap things up?
Yeah, I think the biggest takeaway here is that awareness is key.
Totally. Like, now that we know how this bait and switch thing works, we're way less likely to fall for it, right?
Right. We can spot those red flags a mile away.
It's like we've got this mental shield now.
Exactly. We're not going to let those sneaky tactics get to us.
And you know what? I think it's important to share this knowledge with, like, our friends and family, too.
Oh, for sure. The more people who know about this stuff, the better.
It's like, we can all help each other out.
Yeah.
Become a little army of savvy consumers.
I love that. We can make those shady businesses think twice before trying to pull a fast one.
All right, so before we wrap up completely, I want to leave you with something to think about, something to ponder.
Okay, I like where this is going.
We've talked about bait and switch in stores, online, with services, but I feel like this goes beyond just buying stuff. You know what I mean?
I do. It's about recognizing manipulation in general. It's
Yeah.
like that underlying principle of bait and switch, making a promise to hook you in and then changing the terms well. That can apply to so many areas of life.
Oh, yeah, totally. Like, think about those job postings, the ones that promise amazing perks and a dynamic work environment.
And then you get there and it's white, the opposite.
Exactly. The actual work is boring. The perks are non-existent. Total bait and switch.
It happens all the time.
Or, okay, how about dating profiles?
Ooh, yeah.
They present this, like, carefully curated image of a person, and then you meet them in person, and it's a completely different story.
It's like a bait and switch of the heart.
Right. I mean, it's not always malicious, but still, it makes you think.
It does. Makes you realize that bait and switch isn't just about buying a product. It's about recognizing those situations where we're being manipulated,
Yeah, it's like becoming more aware of the subtle ways people try to influence our decisions, whether we're shopping for a TV or, like, looking for love.
Exactly. It's about being mindful.
This has been such a fascinating conversation. It really makes you, like, open your eyes to how these tactics are used, not just in the marketplace, but in life in general.
I know. It's everywhere.
So, folks, thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of bait and switch. Remember, knowledge is power, so stay informed, stay vigilant, and as always, be well.
Yeah, I think so too.
I feel like just knowing about these tactics, makes us less likely to fall for them.
Absolutely, yeah.
Like, now we can recognize those red flags and be like, nope, not falling for that.
Exactly.
And you know what? I think it's so important to spread the word, too.
Oh, for sure.
Like, share this knowledge with our friends, family, everyone.
Yeah.
Let's make these shady tactics a thing of the past.
I love that idea.
So, folks, if you found this deep dive helpful, please share it. Let's all become a little more savvy,
Absolutely.
Okay, so before we go, I want to leave you with something to think about.
Okay.
We've talked about bait and switch in, stores, online, with services, but it feels like this concept goes, like, way beyond just buying stuff.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
It's almost a life lesson,
It is.
It's about recognizing manipulation in general.
Right. That whole idea of promising one thing and then delivering something totally different.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It happens everywhere.
I mean, think about, like, job postings.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
They promise amazing perks, a dynamic work environment, and then you get there and it's a cubicle farm.
Exactly. Soul crushing, right?
Yeah.
Or how about dating profiles?
Ooh, yeah.
They present this, like, perfect image of a person, and then
You meet them and it's like, wait, who are you?
right. Like, total bait and switch.
It's like the bait is the carefully curated persona and the switch is the real person.
It makes you wonder, like, how much of what we see is real and how much is just, like, smoke and mirrors.
Right. It's all about being aware, questioning things.
Yeah, it's about becoming more mindful, I guess.
Exactly. Thinking critically.
Well, folks, I think that's a pretty good note to end on.
I think so too.
This has been an eye-opening deep dive. We've learned about bait and switch tactics, how to spot them, and how to protect ourselves.
Yeah,
And more importantly, I think we've learned to be a little more skeptical, a little more questioning.
absolutely.
So thanks for joining us today. Remember, knowledge is power. Stay informed, stay vigilant, and as always, be well.